Welcome to another episode of The Locker Room. We are in the final four of the college football playoff. All the teams that did not have a bye week won their games last week. We're going to be talking Ohio State, Texas, Notre Dame, Penn State. We also got our fan call-in with Cam Belden. This is the show for you. Make sure you leave comments. Make sure you're subscribing. Let's have a show and let's talk college football.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Locker Room. It is the final four of college football. If you're here for NFL, that's coming out Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. This is the college football portion. We've got two games. These two games will decide who's going to the national championship. It's a big week, boys. Delanie, college football is your favorite. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling really great about that. You know what I mean? I went 9-8 last episode.
Delanie's just on the soapbox bragging about being one game above.
500?
Like, shit, I had a good week last week, 53%. Like, bro, you won one game above. You probably didn't even bet all those games.
I bet all those games.
So you're up. So you won a unit.
I won a unit.
That's beautiful. One thing that always gets units is this show presented by Fireball. The Locker Room is sponsored by Fireball Whiskey. So many things make football great, but you know what the best thing is? Kicking the living shit out of your rival. There's absolutely no better feeling as an athlete or fan, and Fireball Whiskey is here to give you the spark to ignite your rivalry all season long. Grab your football buddy, buy a round, and ignite your rivalry flame. Boys, the first game pisses me off.
I know it does, but hey.
It actually doesn't. It weirdly does. Like, I'll think about Ohio State, and I'm like my blood will boil for a second, but then I'm like, yeah, but also it is the Big Ten, and like we beat them, so if they do well, it's like, all right, like we beat the national champs if they end up winning the national championship. So there's ways. I keep finding myself in a crossroads.
So why does it piss you off? Just because it's Ohio State?
Just because Ohio State's doing well. And they've been, the thing about Ohio State, whether you like it or not, as a Michigan fan, is they're good. They're always just good. Like Michigan is, well, when I was there, really bad. And then they start to get better. And then they kind of get bad again. And then they win the national championship and they have a little bit of a down year. Best 7-5 team in college football history. However, still a down year for us. So now it's like, you watch Ohio State, it's a reload every single year. They always have firepower at receiver. They always have a dominating offense. But this year, their defense is incredible. But Cotton Bowl, Ohio State, they're favored 5.5 versus Texas. Total points.
Hang on. Before we jump into the game, I was thinking about something earlier. I was talking about it with JP. The quarterbacks we have, the crop, the future of college football. I was writing these names down. Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers, Dylan Raiola, DJ Lagway, Sam Levitt, Nico. You got Quinn Ewers.
Bryce Underwood.
I mean, he hasn't played yet. I'm just saying that the guys who have played, the young cats who have played this year, like the future is bright for quarterback in college football.
Very bright.
I like that.
Very bright.
I like that take a lot.
Doesn't that fire you up?
It fires me up. What's your take on people saying that this quarterback class, in this draft class, is really bad?
Bad.
Hold on.
Hey, Delanie's got some takes. I kind of want to save it for the NFL show because Delanie and I made a bet.
Tease it. Tease the bet, and then I'll have to go watch the NFL show.
Okay, Delanie and I made a $1,000 bet on where Shedeur Sanders is going to get drafted. I've got to tell you, it's pretty much a lock for myself. He doesn't think Shedeur is a good
about the
quarterback.
last bet, and I'll beat you. So let's
Which
go.
bet?
The last bet we made, you had a lock. It was a lock.
Which bet was it?
Everything's a lock.
Remind me.
If it's talking about that, it's probably about Nebraska.
Bo Nix bet. The Bo Nix bet.
Oh, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
But you guys didn't bet.
We didn't bet a Bo
No,
Nix,
we
Justin
did.
Herbert.
500. We had a $500 bet.
Oh, I think that was with was that Chargers Broncos? That wasn't that. I think it was like Miami versus the Colts or some shit.
No, man, cut that shit out.
Wasn't it?
You ain't about to bet on that. You about to bet on the
Hey,
Colts.
I remember you
Was
early.
it Broncos
No,
Chargers?
it wasn't Broncos Chargers because it was
just
earlier
let
in
me
the
just sink
year.
into my seat.
It was earlier in the
Yeah, I
year.
thought it was earlier
because
in the year,
you
too.
paid Delanie 500, and then
we gave it.
we gave it to Mitch, and that
yeah.
was like what, November?
Yeah, that was a
while ago.
Well, it is what it is. At the end of the day, the bet teased the bet.
Yeah, we did a $1,000 bet on where Shedeur was going to get drafted.
And we'll talk about it in the NFL show.
Delanie just thinks he just falls. He damn near thinks he's going undrafted.
I didn't say undrafted.
Pretty damn close.
We'll talk, hey,
Everybody
NFL show,
on the
NFL show.
But how do I feel about the quarterback class? Yeah, it's a little watered down, but you never know.
But why? like Cam Ward, even though, but I didn't like the fact that he left after or stopped playing after the half, like he still had a shitload of touchdowns, moved the ball down the field. Shadur Sanders looked good. Like,
who else?
are those not two good quarterbacks?
Who else?
I don't know, man.
That's
I'm
what
just saying.
It's not very deep.
But there's reports saying Shadur Sanders is not a first-round draft pick from some.
Only a few scouts have said that.
Honestly,
we talked about that
honestly,
on Bussin. All it takes is a couple guys to be like, "Oh, I don't have him."
Yeah,
as a first
it
round."
changes.
It becomes
Smoke and mirrors.
headline.
Smoke and mirrors
Well,
season.
no, it changes at the combine. If he go to the combine, he perform at a high level.
He
It
will.
all changes. I don't think he will do anything at the combine. I think he'll do a private session at Colorado. A lot of
That
dudes.
won't hurt him.
Huh?
That won't hurt him.
All right.
You think he's gonna do the Johnny Manziel, have the shoulder pads on, and everything?
Yeah.
Let's get into this.
He could.
Let's get into this.
Trophy game of the week.
Brought to us by DraftKings. Holy shit, I think I forgot. I misplaced. There we go. Thank you, brother. Presented by DraftKings. From the football playoffs to college to pro basketball to the rush of hockey. What a time to be a sports fan. It's all happening right now. And you can get in on all the action of the sports you love at the DraftKings Sportsbook. With so many sports, every day is game day at DraftKings. That means unlimited opportunities to place your first bet. And DraftKings makes it easy. How easy, one might ask. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Just go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, pick your team, and place your bet. And to help get you started, here's something special for all new customers. When you bet $5, you will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code LOCKER. That's code LOCKER for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Is yours.
All right, what's the numbers on this game? What do we got
Ohio
here?
State's favored minus 5.5
5.5
versus Texas. Total points in that game is 53.5 points. Games in the Cotton Bowl.
Games in the Cotton
Delanie.
TNT Stadium.
Delanie, what do you think?
Man, honestly, after what the performance Texas played against Arizona should have won that game. It was a holding call. They didn't call it. Gave Texas the opportunity to finish that game out. Arizona played physical. I mean, beat those boys up. They came in there and said, "Yeah, we white and y'all black. We're gonna sock y'all. We're gonna punch y'all first." And it's literally what they showed up. Showed up. I was scared for them boys, but Ohio State, what they did to Oregon, I mean, god damn.
What they did to Tennessee.
What they did to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Those boys
The way their defense is
Show,
operating.
college football show. We got to talk about it.
We got to talk about it, Jack.
They are on fire. I'm talking about fire. Everyone was talking about Ryan Day was about to lose his job. He was on the hot seat. What's going on now? That whole conversation has changed. This man got that team pumping. They on one heartbeat. I think they're gonna take this game minus 5.5. They're gonna beat Texas, and they're gonna beat Texas in a fashion that they beat Oregon. I guarantee it ain't even gonna be close.
I don't know, bro. I think Texas has a much better defense than Arizona State. Arizona State came to play and they played well. They played physical, but you look at Texas, they have like a top 5 defense and pass defense. They're great at turnovers. If they can get a couple turnovers, which they can, their defensive line can get after the quarterback. They will. I think it's a closer game. Ohio State might win this late in the game, but I like Texas with the points. They got to be able to run the football. Anytime,
you got to be able to run the football.
Anytime they're one-dimensional, they get beat every time. But they
And
have to be able to run the ball. Ohio State is good. They can get after the passer. They have a great defense as well. These two match up much better than Arizona State and Texas did. Obviously, Ohio State blown out Oregon. Again, Oregon had the bye week. They had a lot of time off. Ohio State has just been festering since that Michigan beatdown. But I think Texas matches up well. I think everybody's calling for a blowout because you look at the 2 games in the playoffs with Ohio State. They beat the brakes off of Tennessee. They beat the brakes off of Oregon. Everybody's just going to assume they're going to continue to have the same success. I just feel like Texas matches up better. And when you kind of have that gut check game against Arizona State, a lot of them guys are going to be watching the film, talking to their players saying they shouldn't have been in the ball game with us.
Right.
Obviously, Arizona State played well, but I think Texas is going to come into this game motivated. I think their pass defense is going to be challenged, and I think they're hungry to live up to that standard, shut down Jeremiah Smith. They won't be able to, but still, you know how it is in those rooms. They're going to be motivated to play, and I think Texas is going to surprise people.
I like when you watch the Texas and Arizona State game, it's very clear that Texas had 2 X plays, one on special teams and one in the beginning of the game on offense. And then after that, they really fills it out. Quinn Ewers made some good throws, but he also had multiple throws down the field that were either underthrown or just misplaced completely. The talent discrepancy, and we talked about this last week, between ASU and Texas was so dramatically different. You're talking about the 2-star, 3-star guys versus multiple 5-stars in the state of Texas, which is just a breeding ground for high school football. So you think that game might be close because of how hungry ASU is, and towards the end of the game, ASU is going to pull away because the talent is that much better. But the reality of the film is ASU from 25 to 25 moved the ball up and down the field. ASU's defense kind of handled Texas's offense in a big way. Yeah. And if ASU has a kicker that can consistently kick the ball from 25 to the 35, they're probably walking away with that game without going to overtime. There was a targeting call, and we discussed this on Bussin With The Boys.
And the Texas receiver, I think that was an incomplete pass.
That was a crazy thing. Was that you that brought that up on the show yesterday?
Yeah, we watched it kind of frame by frame.
Just
when the ball
nuts.
hits the ground.
So when I watched that, it's like Texas should have lost that game. ASU was missing like one piece essentially, which was the kicker. That, if they had an adequate kicker, they're able to win that game. I love the gut check when you're sitting there, you're back in Austin, you're watching the film, and you're putting on your film versus ASU, and then you turn on demon mode, Ohio State versus not only Tennessee but also Oregon, who was the first team in college football since Oregon beat Ohio State. What I like in this game is Quinn Ewers. This is the only quarterback that was a Heisman frontrunner or supposed to be in the Heisman race in the beginning of the year, and the whole school didn't want him as a starting quarterback. They wanted Arch Manning. So as he's winning these games and making that 4th and 13 throw in overtime, and then the next play, getting that wide delay kind of seam that he tosses it out, and the next play just to go. There's a bit of a fuck you to Texas. So I think he's going to ball out. Ohio State is the better football team.
Way better.
They're the better football team on the perimeter. It's so difficult to stop them. The passing game is incredible. Jeremiah Smith, unbelievable. The run game is great. They're missing their center, who was an Outland Trophy winner or Remington Trophy winner. Like there's a lot of different variables. I'm having a massive internal conflict because if you watch the 2 games, there's no way you should bet against Ohio State, especially 5.5 after ASU and Texas game. Like you feel really good if you're an Ohio State fan.
Yeah.
I'll take Texas money line.
I think I gotta switch.
Yeah.
I think I gotta switch. I'm just sitting here thinking about the Texas-Arizona State game, and Ohio State defensively
is way better.
Bro,
just say
12
way
points.
better.
They're giving up like 12.1 points, 12.1 points per game, according to Mitch's.
That's what I'm saying.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're getting to the quarterback all the time.
All the time.
Not just sacks, but also pressures as well.
Pressuring his ass.
With 4, not even bringing a whole lot of guys. So they got 7 dudes in the back end.
Yeah.
I'm watching that film, Arizona State film. I'm a Ohio State. I'm like, we can bully these cats. Look where Arizona State came in. Bully them.
Right.
Yeah,
bully them.
I gotta switch. Because they're top 10 in sacks, they're top 10 in pressure rate. They're going to get after Texas. Because again, it's a different. Yeah.
Texas' offensive line is way different than Oregon's offensive line, Tennessee's offensive line. Like they have a good offensive line. They have a left tackle that's probably be a top 10 pick. They got guys that can move and go. So it's going to be a little bit different.
They're going to be matched. You got some guys on Ohio State that's going top 10 as well. You feel me?
I don't think there's any defensive linemen on Ohio State going top 10.
This is Ohio State. I'm just sitting here thinking it.
As a group, the 11 guys, like their front 7 is really good. Their back end is elite.
So you telling me what's old buddy that
which team you talking about?
I'm talking about Ohio State right now.
You don't think it's a dude on Ohio State defensive line right now that's going to go top 10?
I don't know much about their interior guys, but they're 2 edge guys. 44, he had an incredible game against Penn State 2 years ago. He had 4 sacks, interception, a pick 6, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think it's like Tui Molau.
Yeah. But he's been more quiet since that game. Like he had a huge breakout game. Everyone's like, holy shit, this kid's going to be unbelievable. And then kind of haven't heard from him very much. You look at his stats against Michigan too.
He's not making your big time plays, but he's like doing enough.
He's a consistent role player.
Doing his job. He's doing his job.
But doing your job is not getting you a top 10
But
grade.
you know how it is. If they win a national, that changes that whole dynamic. Cats get drafted higher just because they won a national championship.
I don't think that's how it works. Not in college football. If you're talking about
you
NFL.
See Michigan.
No, you're talking about dude,
about NFL,
a lot of
or
talent.
you win the Super
Y'all
Bowl.
had a lot, but
you win the
doing
Super Bowl,
shit
guys
in
get
the
paid
league.
because you're like college and NFL. We know is just a totally different league. If you are able to be in the number 1 team in the world and win, whether you're a core 4 special teams guy, a first and second down guy, like you're going to want to bring that guy on your team and pay him because it's like this guy knows how to win. He could probably breathe some of that leadership into that
Right.
locker room. With college, it's like you're a senior in high school. You're the top tier guy. You're top of the totem pole. Then you go to college, you're at the bottom again. You work your way up. Same thing when you go from college to NFL. You're going to go back to the bottom of the totem pole and have to prove yourself and work your way up. There's no like, hey, this guy's, he won a national championship. He might have had a second round grade. Now it's him in the first round. I don't think like
You gotta
teams
get drafted
winning
on
is
talent.
going to. That cat from
And
Toledo.
performance.
Hey, the corner
They
from
can draft on performance, but I think performance is a lower metric than having the tangibles and the talent that guys kind of get caught up in playing fantasy football when it's the combine, the pro day, and everything else. You start going after those guys who
Well,
have a higher ceiling.
You look at
versus like a higher
Philadelphia.
floor.
Philadelphia, I think it was like 18 overall or 21 overall around that area. They took a corner from Toledo. That kid's been balling out this year. He's been
Yeah,
having
because
a good year.
he been balling.
Yeah,
That's
but
why.
he's been balling out. But they're not looking at Toledo being like, what a powerhouse. Like, you know, the whole world's like, we got a cat from
Dude's
Toledo.
like what,
Yeah, but-
6'2"?
Yeah.
But you, I
long,
mean, that's
Long,
a different
rangy, has
scenario.
enough speed,
Yeah.
like
But-
great ball skills.
But see, they watched his film and they saw what he can bring to the table. Because sometimes, like even when I talk to these scouts, they don't even. Some scouts like combine. Some scouts say, "I go off film. I go
You
off
should go off film.
because I want to see how they perform every play. Do they come off the field? Do they play? Do they go and try to make the tackle? Do they compete every play? That's what you see. So that kid from Toledo, he was a dog because he competed every play. He was hungry. He was he the type of DB you want. Big size guy, come down, lay the wood, can cover their best player. That's what you want. That's why
And
he
his
got
upside
drafted.
is high. His ceiling is high.
His
Yeah.
ceiling is high. That's what I'm
because
saying.
he's got the intangibles.
Yeah.
Like those types of things. The combine, if you're a scout, I don't know of a scout that just looks at a combine and goes, oh, he ran a 4.3. We should draft this guy
Well,
immediately.
that only Anthony Richardson was the only person
Right, but
that happened
combine
to.
is checking a box.
Yeah.
Like, is he strong enough? Okay. Is he fast enough? Is he? You don't have to be the fastest or the strongest. It's like kind of getting in this little box window of this is how many reps he can get. This is what his 10 split was. That's more of an NFL talk.
Because like if you look
And
at
think of
buyers,
but the ego too of like the NFL kind of thought process is you see a guy that's got tremendous upside, and maybe they're not finishing every play, but there are those scouts and those coaches that just think if we get him in here, I can get that out.
Yeah.
of him.
Yeah.
Because again, they're wanting to bet on that upside. Like,
Yeah.
this dude's a freak athlete.
Yeah.
Like I think if I get around him, he must not have had the coaches that got it out of him. We'll get it out of him.
yeah, that's a Vrabel kind of coach. Because Vrabel, he's the type of coach that want to build you up. He feels like he can make you better. You know what I mean? So you got to have that type of coach that can see that, like, yeah, we can make him better. We can make him go the extra mile. You
Just
know
to
what I mean?
just to get back to this game real quick, I think just looking at the last two games from Ohio State, it's so hard to bet against Ohio State. It really is. What I'm banking on with me taking Texas is Quinn Ewers giving the bird to his own school, his own state, his own city, because they want Arch Manning, and him playing with a chip on his shoulder, kind of like I'm gonna prove the world something, because he had some throws, like I said, that were not great, and it's hard to be that consistent, put up that many points, and hold defenses that much when you're playing these high caliber teams in the playoffs. This 12-team playoff is a whole different world. Can Ohio State sustain that? I don't
Think
know.
about these offenses that Ohio State has done it to in the last couple.
Brother,
of
Yeah,
you are
and
not lying.
12 sacks.
You are
in
not
2
lying.
games.
And the SEC,
12
and the-
sacks in
yeah.
2
Oregon.
games.
SEC's having a down year. I get it.
I'm telling you,
I
man,
get it.
it's gonna be tough for Texas.
Give me Texas money line.
God, I like
I'm not.
it.
Do I sound excited about it? No, but this is.
And look, Georgia beat Texas in the SEC championship. Notre Dame, their quarterback Riley Leonard had 90 yards passing and beat the SEC champion.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And we're talking about Ohio State playing Texas.
Wild. Just crazy.
So you believe it.
Belief, hope is more what I'm
Are
looking
we
at.
talking money line? Are we going to get a money line bet like
Yeah,
the
I said.
ASU?
I said money line at the beginning.
So you're going to empty your account to do the money
Yeah,
line?
all $54 in it. It's kind of empty now. It kind of got emptied a little bit. Bro, ASU. I put like $4,700
I know
in that
you
game.
did.
I could have cashed out for like $16,000.
I know during
Going
the
into
during the
OT.
half,
But
yeah.
I was no, it was
They scored in
Halftime.
after
OT.
they scored
It was-
OT.
yeah, OT,
and
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, bro, let me just see it out, because I would have felt terrible
If you
if I
pulled-
didn't believe in the boys,
I believed in them. I thought they was about to walk their ass. I'm like, this is crazy.
dude. When they were 4th and 13,
cover zero simulation pressure was crazy.
That was
Arizona State.
crazy. I don't know why they did that.
and if we broke all that down on Bussin'. If
did.
you guys want to see that breakdown, you guys can go watch Bussin' With The Boys. It just came out with Francis Ellis. That's fun to look at.
Yeah.
That kind of framing, everything. Love Kenny Dillingham sitting on a podium saying, that's on me. I called that play. That was their rule. And then once again, doubling down on Twitter, getting that all done. So that I love that. That's the kind of coach you want to play for.
Oh, definitely.
And even though they lost, their whole thing is getting players from Texas back to Arizona.
Yeah.
And they showed that, hey, you took on the best team in Texas at this point.
I mean,
like
shit.
you could be special here at ASU. Big 12, shout out them. But yeah, I'm gonna take Texas money line.
All right, moving on to the Orange Bowl. Notre Dame versus Penn State. The spread on this game, Notre Dame is favored by 2.5. The over-under is 45.5. This game is brought to us by Fireball. The ballsy college pick of the week brought to us by Fireball is the perfect shot for game day. Whether you're buying those sneaky little shoes before going into the stadium or going big with the Fireball keg for your tailgate, whether it's a pregame shot in the tailgate lot or a celebratory touchdown shot at the bar, no matter what is guaranteed to ignite your game day. I'm kind of surprised Notre Dame's favored.
I am too. Yeah, I am too.
You like Notre Dame?
I like Notre Dame. It's something about them motherfucking Irish. I like Notre Dame.
I feel like this is screaming Penn State.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going Penn State money line. Like, I'm taking Penn State in this game. It's like you look at Notre Dame. I was saying it earlier. They beat the Georgia Bulldogs with Riley Leonard only having 90 yards passing. They're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to do some more things. And if you look at them throughout the year, they've only been like underdogs in the game like 4 times. So they've always jumped out on teams early. I don't feel like they do that against Penn State because they're very opportunistic on defense. So they get turnovers. They've got
Which one? Notre Dame is opportunistic?
Notre Dame is opportunistic.
Yes.
They've gotten turnovers all year long. And so it's like there's something to be said about that, but having that as like when I'm gambling on that, I feel like Penn State is going to get out on them early. Like they won't be able to have the turnovers and success that Notre Dame has had throughout the entire season. It's not like a game where I'm like Notre Dame gets exposed because clearly they play very good complementary football.
Yeah. Because
they can win games when Riley Leonard's only throwing for around 100 yards. They can run the ball well. Riley can run the ball well. They coach their ass off within the scheme. I like Penn State, man. I think that there's going to be some mismatches. Who is it? Tyler Warren, the tight end number 44.
He hurt for Penn State. I thought he was hurt. They started tight end. He hurt.
No, I don't. I think I think he's active.
He active?
Yeah, I think he's active.
I thought I read something that he said he wasn't going to play.
He's a baller.
He's a
got
beast.
Some weapons on the outside. They have a running game. I think they're hungry on defense. I think they're a much better defense than what Georgia was. Georgia had a lot of issues tackling on the perimeter against Notre Dame. I don't think Penn State will have those. Will have that going against them. I think they'll perform well. I like Penn State in this game.
Is number 11
Notre Dame has figured it out. Notre Dame knows how to win.
They know how to win. Both teams have had one team has had an easier path than the other, but Penn State, you watch them, they played ASU and Boise State. They had the easiest path to get to this point right now. Notre Dame, they play Indiana, a team that we all agree was just kind of happy to be in the playoffs. Their numbers were a little inflated because really the top teams, they didn't really beat any top teams. Their schedule is very favorable. Penn State, I love them on defense. I love the way they fly the ball. I love the way they run the ball. They do a great job. The tight end is very talented. I see Penn State winning this game because you watch Notre Dame against Georgia, and I feel like Georgia didn't look like Georgia. They didn't look like the SEC champs. Carson Beck's obviously out, and it felt to me that Stetson not Stetson, Gunnar Stockton. You felt like the team didn't believe in the kid's capability. He had done. Now the kid's a 5-star, ends up going there. He should be a whole lot better next year if he is a quarterback for the Dogs. But there didn't seem like a whole lot of belief after. Stetson Bennett. Stockton. No. Carson Beck. After Carson Beck went out. Give me Penn State.
I think it's a Drew Aller game, bro. I think he plays well. I mean, they got 2 1,000-yard rushers. They're obviously going to try to run the football, but I think Drew Aller, I think he shows up this game.
The likelihood of 2 Big Ten teams being in the national championship is very high.
Yeah. And too, like Penn State, although they played Boise, you play against like a Heisman Trophy caliber running back and Ashton Genty. Like they're battle tested in the trenches. I just feel like they'll have the run defense to shut down Notre Dame, make him a little bit more one-dimensional. It's going to come down to Drew Aller because again, you go back to Notre Dame being opportunistic with turnovers and taking the ball away. But I like Drew Aller, man.
But Penn State has also been extremely opportunistic as well. You look at the SMU game; they have 2 pick-sixes. I mean, they're a team that flies the ball. The difference between Penn State and Georgia and their defense is Penn State plays complementary football all around. Every guy's in their gap. Everybody is where they're supposed to be, and they don't make petty small mistakes. They let the other team make mistakes for them, and they capitalize when those mistakes are made. That's why I like Penn State in this game.
And who's number 11 for Penn State?
Abdul Carter.
Is he
Abdul Carter.
He got hurt, but in the last game, is he gonna play this game?
Yeah, he got hurt with an ankle.
think everybody hurt?
But he'll be playing.
He's a psycho, bro. I love watching him play.
Yeah.
I love watching
Something
him
about number 11 in that jersey.
Yeah, yeah.
They just go off.
play. Yeah.
They go crazy in this
Does it
game.
make
Notre
you,
Dame money line.
Notre Dame's favored by 2.5.
I know. I'm still taking the money line.
does it make you guys nervous at all that Penn State I have on here is 0-6 when they're an underdog? They're 0-6 straight up and 1-5 against the spread.
I saw that, and again, if you look at James Franklin and just his history in the big games, right? Like,
Yeah. Those
clearly
underdogs are
outmatched
Ohio
by-
State. It's Michigan. It's top 10, top 5 teams.
No doubt, but that kind of goes back to like, can he win? Yeah, he won the big games, I guess you could say, these last 2 weeks, but SMU and Boise State are not, like, they're not your top caliber team.
Yeah.
At all.
that's fair, but
The
I feel like
logo, you're
off-
saying the logo plays a factor.
Oh, 100%.
I agree with
defense has
that.
showed up all year, and I feel like the offense being able to put points on the board, like they're gaining momentum, they're building some confidence. Like I feel like that's one where taking those against the spread, those gambling stats kind of go out the window. I mean, they're in the semifinals
Yeah.
of the college football.
Yeah,
playoff.
the stats.
and they've
don't
earned
matter.
it again. And you look at when they played against Oregon, they only lose by a few points.
Ohio State as well. Talking about Penn State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their defense showed up there. Their offense
mean,
was
they-
just
yeah.
unfortunately non-existent.
And that if they get that fourth down, they win that game.
Yeah, and if we do see a Ohio State Penn State championship,
That's big.
well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
big.
yeah,
I
we'll
feel
talk
like
about
it'll
that
be
if it
kind of
happens.
The same thing. I feel like it'll be Ohio State.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
Notre Dame and Ohio State.
Yeah.
You like Notre Dame?
I do.
What
right,
about
yeah.
Notre Dame?
Black
Their
coach.
quarterback throwing for 90 yards
Black coach.
doesn't scare you?
So Penn State has a
You say black coach?
Penn State has a black coach.
Is he black?
He light skin, I think.
I can't do this show anymore.
That's it, boys. Those are the two games.
we got our fan call in coming to us by Cam Belden. Let's dial it in with the boy. He's a tier 1. Cam is an ultimate tier 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Terry.
He's a big tier 1. He's got the wolf emoji in his name. He's a big tier 1. So here's our fan call in this week by Cam.
What's going on, guys? Special fan call in from your boy Cam. Got a little special college football semifinal for my best friend Taylor Lewan. Because spoiler alert for Barstool Survivor, he got voted out. But here's our picks for him. Special one for you, buddy. Notre Dame, we got -2.5. Gonna be a defensive battle. And I think Notre Dame's going to edge it out. A lot of run game, going to run out the clock, but Notre Dame's just got that stout defense. It's a top 10 in the game. Ohio State, I think they're a force to be reckoned with. They're an absolute wagon. So I think I'm going to take Ohio State -5.5. And I also think there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game as well. So I'm taking the over in that game. So yeah, shout out to you, Taylor, and shout out to the Pinstripe Bowl champions. Go Big Red.
Cam, I
love how you got
like
the shirt.
that dude.
I like Cam.
I like him a lot.
Got
You
good
acted like
energy.
you just won the entire weekend because
I
of that
did.
fan call in.
We
He's
gonna
like,
hit. We gonna hit. We gonna hit. My boy Cam came out. You say you're tier 1. Shit going down.
Notre Dame -2.5, Ohio State -5.5, and the Ohio State Texas over of 53.5. Those odds are plus 575 in the
I'm with it.
DraftKings app right now.
I'm with you all day, buddy.
Great calling. I don't think Notre
Dame.
Dame.
I
don't
got
think Notre
you.
Dame.
Me and you. We gonna be next week.
He's against both of yours.
No.
Yeah.
I know. Love Cam. Appreciate you. Yeah, I did get voted out. Spoiler alert. Got voted
Yeah,
out
spoiler
of Survivor.
alert. You're watching
Didn't even
Survivor,
see it
did not
coming.
watch it? I know.
Didn't even see it coming.
I saw it coming.
Bro, and it's
I saw
really,
it.
it
Yeah,
was
I
the
saw it
dumb
coming.
football mentality for me of being like, our squad is so tight after winning 3 straight. Like, we can't
Man,
break
our
this team up.
fucking bullshit.
We got
ass
some
squad,
bitch-ass
bro.
snakes in that group.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I saw it coming.
But I do respect that they're
You
like,
talk too much, you know.
the fact that they're like, hey, you guys could win it. Talking about us, you, me, and Biz could win it. Like, we got to get these guys out of there because
Yeah.
any athletic competition.
Yeah.
It was nice to hear that.
Yeah.
It was a compliment before you get shot
So
in the
you've
head.
been watching.
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah.
He said I saw it coming. He talked to me.
I did. Yeah. I was like, because in the beginning, those girls were like, what do we do? I'm like, I guess you guys, they're just looking to me for what we should do, but they were really playing me.
Yeah.
And they painted me into this, hey, we got to get them out of here. They won. They did a good job. They got my ass. I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. Great show.
Great show.
Great show.
Great
Great
show.
show. Great
Comment,
show.
subscribe.
Appreciate you guys.
Big hugs, tiny kisses. Let's win them all.
Yes,
Win 'em
sir.
all.